Hello students of 11 Commerce, welcome to your business studies class. In our previous classes, I have started with Unit 3, okay? Unit 3, it is about private, public and global enterprises, alright? So I've already covered some of the topics under this unit. So today's class, I'm going to take up the topic forms of private enterprises, okay? Forms of private enterprises, all right? So, number one is sole proprietorship, right? Sole proprietorship, all right? So, class, when you see the word sole, all right, remember that we are talking about an individual, all right? Sole means individual. Proprietorship means ownership, all right? Proprietorship means ownership, all right? So when we combine sole proprietorship, we are getting individual ownership or single ownership. You got it? So here, sole proprietorship is when he or she they run their own business enterprises. All right. So every share of profit that he or she gets, okay, by running their business, every profit, 100% of their profit will obviously be shared by them alone, all right? Likewise, even for the losses, there are always, risks and losses under the business industry, right? So whatever losses they faces in their business, they will have to dealt by themselves. They'll have to bear the losses by themselves, all right? So profit, loss, and risks, all right? It has to be dealt by the individual alone under sole proprietorship. Okay, some of the example of of sole proprietorship is when a person runs his or her restaurant, okay, or shops. That is a sole proprietorship business. Here most of the business who runs restaurant, they are single owner, right? So whatever profit or loss that comes their way, they bear it by themselves, all right? So so that is what sole proprietorship is all about, all right? Do remember that we are talking about a single ownership here. So every profit and losses, they'll have to bear by themselves, okay? The second point is joint Hindu family business, okay? So by the word, joint means it is a combination of something, right? Joint means it is a combination of something. Hindu family business. So we are talking about joint family business, all right? We are talking about joint Hindu family business, all right? So here, this is all about when the family members, okay? When all the family members, they join together, they collaborate together and work for their family business, okay? That is joint Hindu family business, all right? And this kind of business will be available, or this kind of business is run only in India, okay? And it is formed by the Hindu law, all right? So here, and the under this Hindu family business, the eldest member, okay, the eldest member in the family, which is known as Karta, okay, he is known as a Karta. He is the eldest member of the family, which is known as a Karta. He is responsible, okay, he is the head of their family business, all right? So when I say head, it is, he controls and he directs their family business, all right? So class, remember that this joint Hindu family business are, when all the family members, they come together and work together, okay, for their family business, and the eldest member of the family, which is Karta, he managed, owned and controlled their family business, all right? So a perfect example for this kind of business is the Ambani's industry, okay? Ambani's and the Tata industry, right? So we know who are the Ambani's, right? Their family, you know, they come together as one, and that's how they are, you know, super rich today, right? So that's how, you know, they join together as one and they run their business, all right? So that is what joint Hindu family business is all about. Number 3 is partnership. Okay, so here the word partnership means when excuse me, when 2 or 3 partners, okay, when 2 or 3 partners they agree together, to form a partnership. Okay, when two or more people they agree together to form a business, it is known as a partnership. So in order to form a partnership, minimum 2 people is required, okay, and maximum 50 people is required in order to form a partnership. All right, so here, when the sole proprietorship, okay, he thinks that, you know, he needs to expand his territory. In a sense, he needs to expand his own business industry. Why? Because, you know, we know that, you know, 2 is always better than 1, right? The more people, the more revenue he can generate. All right. So when sole proprietorship, when he thinks that, you know, when he wants to expand his business, then he'll join into partnership. All right, so the partnership rules is such that minimum 2 people is required and maximum 50 people need to be there in order to form a partnership. All right, and all of them will have to come with an agreement in order to form a partnership. All right, that was the 3rd form. The next one is joint venture. Okay, joint venture. So here we know what is joint, a combination of something. Venture, we are talking about business. All right, so a joint business. All right, so even in the joint venture, when 2 or more people, okay, they agree to work for a certain project, okay, when they agree to work for a certain project for a temporary basis, okay, just for a short period of time, when they agree to work on that kind of project, that is a joint venture. All right, so some of the projects under these ventures are constructions of buildings, all right, making of roads, bridges, and canals. Okay, all those are the examples of the business ventures that they do. All right, so here there are 2 reasons. Okay, there are 2 reasons for doing joint venture. Okay, when the partners they agree to do a joint business, there are 2 reasons. The first one is, like I mentioned for the partnership, okay, when they collaborate and work together, there is more revenue, and every business entrepreneurs, they want to earn a maximum profit, right? So their objective is also to combine, okay, to collaborate and work together so that they are able to maximize their profit. Okay, and another reason is when they collaborate together, they will have growth and development in their project, or whatever venture that they do, it will have a growth and a development under their business sector. You got it? The 4th point is joint stock company. Okay, joint stock company, here it means it is a company which is very big. In a sense, it is massive. All right, joint stock company, it is a big company where a huge amount of capital is required in order to form this kind of business. All right, at the same time, okay, whenever the investment is huge, the amount of risks is also the same. All right, huge capital investment equals to higher risks, all right? And here under this joint stock company, the shareholders, okay, the shareholders, they also invest in this kind of company and they participate together with the workers as well. All right, that is what joint stock company is all about. And the last form is cooperative enterprises. All right, this enterprises is about forming a society. All right, it is all about forming a society. And this cooperative enterprises is registered under the Cooperative Act 1921, all right? And every member, okay, they joined together, they collaborate together as one for the betterment of the society and this ownership, okay, under these cooperative enterprises, the ownership is being managed by the members of this society alone, all right? So those were some of the points that we have covered under the forms of private enterprises. Before we go ahead with another topic, let's just do a review on what I have covered now. Okay, sole proprietorship. So now you know what is sole proprietorship. We are talking about an individual, a single ownership where every profit, loss, and risks will have to be bared by the single ownership alone. Okay. Joint Hindu family business, combination of every members coming together as one for the expansion of their family business. And the eldest member, that is the Karta, he is the head of this family, and he direct and he managed and controlled the whole system of their business. Partnership, when 2 or 3 persons they agree together to form a company, to come into an existence. Okay, it is partnership. Minimum 2 people is required, and maximum 50 people is required to form a partnership. Joint venture, it is a joint business working for a certain project for a temporary basis in order to maximize their growth and to have a growth and development under their business sector. Joint stock company, to enter into this company, huge amount of money is required. Okay, the shareholders, they invest in this kind of companies and they participate, and at the same time, you know, it requires a huge amount of money, so the risk is also equivalent. Okay, the risk is also very high in this type of company. And lastly, we have cooperative enterprises. This enterprises is all about a society, okay, where the society, they come together as one, they form a society for the betterment of the public, okay, and they own and manage their own system, their own enterprises. All right. Okay, so class, we will move on to our next topic, that is public sector. Okay. So we have already dealt with it, what is public sector, right, in our previous classes, but just a quick review. Public sector, it is about a public service, okay, public service that the government gives to the society, all right? So when we talk about public sector, always remember that we are talking about a government, all right? And government always give priority and focus to the society alone, all right? And state ownership, their ownership is being owned, controlled, and managed by the government alone, all right? The government managed everything under the public sector. And the government is also accountable to the public, all right? Whatever money that has been spent under the organization or whatever decisions they did it for the society, later on the government has to report back to the society. That is why they are accountable. They are accountable to the public, all right? So that is about what private sector is all about, okay? Just a quick, some of the examples under these private sectors are ITI, Indian Telephone Institutions, Steel Authority of India Limited, Indian Oil Corporation Limited. All these are the few examples of private sectors, okay, which gives service to the public, to its customers, okay. So moving on, we will look to some of the features of public enterprises. All right, there are 9 points that has been mentioned in your textbook in page 122. So you can go there and follow my lecture along with your textbook. Okay. The first point is state ownership. Okay, so as mentioned here in our state ownership, owned, managed, controlled by the government, right? Here under state ownership, the government takes 51%, okay? Government takes 51% of its share for the public sector, all right? And the rest of the person, that is 49%, it goes to the private sector, to the private business, all right? State control here. State control is talking about the decision making, okay? Decision making that takes place under the private sector. So who takes decision? The government takes decision for the public enterprises, all right? And the third point is financial freedom, okay? So here, these public enterprises, public sector, they are free from financial freedom, okay? In a sense, whenever this public sector are in need of a finance, they'll borrow from the government, all right? And later on, when they are, able to generate their revenue, they return the same amount back to the government, all right? So financial freedom means they are free from all those financial terms, since government takes control and government provides for the private sector. The fourth point is a service motive, okay? Service motive, here, their way is to provide service to whom? To the public, to the society, right? So their motive is totally to serve society, okay? To provide them good quality and quantity products to the customers at a very reasonable prices, all right? That is the service motive of public enterprises, all right? Number 5 is public accountability, okay? So everything is being mentioned here in the concept, right? Government is definitely accountable, okay, to the public, because the government motive is to provide services to the public, right? So whatever amount of money that has been, spent for the public, later on, they'll have to do a report. They'll have to report back to the public, all right? So here, under public sector, they take prior care, okay? The government take prior care for the public, all right? That is why they are accountable to the public. Number 6, bureaucracy in management. So here the word bureaucracy means top officials, all right? So since we are dealing about public sector, the top officials are definitely going to be involved in the public sector, all right? So whenever decisions need to be made, okay, whether the decisions are big or small, the top officials, okay, example like the IAS, IPS, they take control over the situation and they do the planning, they do the decision making. Number 7, harmonious industry, okay, harmonious industry relation. So here this relation is talking about the top management and the workers of the public sector. They have a really good bonding, they have a good relationship with each other, unlike the private sector, okay? Why? Because under this public sector, okay, the ones who are working under the public sector are given a lot of good benefits to them, okay? Good benefits to the ones who are working under their sector, all right? And then number 8 is about useful for all sectors. So here, class, public sector, okay, they are useful in all the type of sectors. They are not useful only in one department or one sector, okay, but they are useful for both private sector, for the society, and for the private public sector as well, all right? That is how they, give service to the customers, all right? So that's how they work for the betterment of the public sector. And lastly, we have monopoly in few sectors. Okay, so here, monopoly in few sectors, there are only few single sellers under this public sector. Okay, so because they are, because they are very crucial for the economy of the country. All right, so the public sector, they take control over it, and that is why there are only few sectors. Okay, few sellers under these public sectors. All right. So class, this is where we finish, the 9 points, okay, the forms of public enterprises. All right, the rest of the topics I'll continue in our next class. Thank you.